Those of you who don't know me, I'm John Asraf, and I've been fortunate to have built a few companies and live a pretty nice lifestyle. And what Napoleon Hill taught back then has helped me build 5 multi-million-dollar companies, write New York Times best-selling books. But really, for 40 plus years, I have been studying the human brain and performance. And I remember Bob Proctor gave me the book, Think and Grow Rich. And he said to me, in this book, there's a secret. And once you discover the secret, you will have success for the rest of your life if you apply it. And I said, wonderful. So I read the book voraciously and loved every part of the book. And I remember calling Bob up and saying, hey, Bob, the greatest secret that he talks about in this book, in Think and Grow Rich, is you become what you think about most. And I said to Bob, does that mean I'm going to become a woman? True story. He chuckled. We had a good little laugh. And to put into perspective some of what I took away from not only Napoleon Hill's book, but the little video that you just watched was the comments that he made, right? Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, you can achieve. He can achieve. She can achieve. And so back when I was just getting started in my career, I was working in a factory making $1.65 an hour. I left high school in grade 11, failed English, failed math, was voted most likely to fail in life. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have the knowledge, the skills. I didn't understand how powerful the mind really is. And I ended up with a mentor. And my mentor, Mr. Alan Brown, asked me what I wanted to achieve. And I gave him this whole list of stuff I wanted to achieve. And then he asked me a question. Are you interested in achieving the life of your dreams that you've written out? The income, the health, the wealth, the relations, the travel, the experiences. He said, or are you committed to achieving it? And when I asked him what the difference was, he said, well, if you're interested, you'll do what's easy and convenient. You'll focus on why you can't versus how you will. He says, you'll allow your present circumstances to control your thinking and your mind, and you will not achieve your goals and dreams because you'll keep repeating the same patterns over and over again. He said, however, if you are committed, you will upgrade your mindset to match the vision and goals you have. You will upgrade your skill set to match the vision and goals you have. And so one of the first things that he had me do was create a vision and goals for my life. And then taking into consideration what Napoleon Hill talked about, right, was how do you keep your mind positive every day? And I learned to focus every day on my vision. And back then, I had my vision and my goals and the beliefs that I needed to believe in order to achieve the vision and the goals. Now, I had no idea how to achieve the goals. But if you recall what Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind of man can conceive, imagine, and believe, he can achieve. So every day, I would actually look at my written vision for my life. Every day, I would read it. Every day, I would look at the goals that I wanted to achieve. Every day, I would read an affirmation. I am so happy and grateful for the fact that I am smart enough. I am good enough. I'm capable enough. I have the resources. I have the tools I need in order to achieve the vision, the goals that I have. And in the little passage we just watched, Napoleon Hill was talking about keeping your mind positive. Well, one of the ways that I kept my mind positive was daily reviews of the vision, goals, and the beliefs. And I started to do what today I call is inner size. I used self-talk to keep myself positive. I used self-talk and affirmations in order to create the neural patterns or beliefs that are needed in order to achieve the goals that are wanted. So how do you condition your mind daily? I thought I'd show you something that I have over here. It's called my Exceptional Life Blueprint. Now, back then, I used to write everything out on a piece of paper and then laminate it or on a typewriter. But now I've set my vision board that many of you have seen in the movie The Secret, so that I can see my family, the stuff I'm grateful for, which is another principle that Napoleon Hill talked about. Start off your day, end your day with what are you grateful for? So I'm grateful for my family, my friends, the successes, the challenges that I've had. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I also have written out the values that I make decisions from, my guiding principles for an exceptional life. I write out my health and my wealth and my relationships and career and business and my life's purpose and my big why. And the reason I do this so systematically is to control my own mindset, my focus. And when I invest 5 minutes a day reviewing what I want to achieve, why I want to achieve it, what beliefs I need, what do I need to start, what do I need to stop, I am now directing my mindset. Now, Napoleon Hill also talked about when things don't go your way, reframing things from negative to positive. And I think you'll agree, every one of us has challenges that come into our lives, whether they're business challenges, financial challenges, health challenges, relationship challenges. And one of the things that I took away from that passage was you have to be aware of the challenges. You have to be aware of the obstacles. There's nothing wrong with that awareness, right? But you want to focus your energy and attention on what are the solutions? What can I do about it? And if you take your intention, what you want, and you give it the attention that you want, then you create no tension if you focus on how will I solve this? And Napoleon Hill talks about everything being an education. I happen to agree with that. Sometimes the best lessons you ever will learn in your life are from the failures. There are things maybe you did that caused you to fail. Maybe there are things that you didn't do that caused you to fail. Maybe you didn't think deeply enough of your strategies, your tactics. Maybe you didn't analyze. Maybe you didn't go through the process deep enough, and that caused you to perform at a level that maybe you don't like or didn't produce the results that you want. One of the things I love about what he talked about in the little clip was critiquing yourself up, right? So receiving critique and saying, how is this critique of me, my work, what I've done or haven't done? How can that possibly help me? All of that segment is no matter what happens to me, it really happens for me if I look for the lesson in the thing. So if somebody is criticizing you, right, ask yourself, is there anything that they are saying that might actually be true? And if it's true, am I open enough to listen to it and then apply it? Positive mental attitude is not being oblivious to negativity. It's not being oblivious to obstacles, not being oblivious, or sticking your head in the sand, a proverbial ostrich play. It's being able to assess what somebody tells you. It's being able to assess a situation. It's being able to see based on the law of polarity, which says for every up, there's a down. For every inside, there's an outside. For every good, there's a bad. For every problem, there's a gift. But if you're not open with a positive mental attitude, or what Carol Dweck said is a growth mindset, learning from it, then you have a fixed mindset and you're closed to it. So here's the question for you. What are you doing daily to train your brain, train your mind, condition your resolve, condition your tenacity, condition your self-talk, condition your awareness? Every day when I wake up, first thing I do, as I open up my eyes, I give thanks for being alive again. That actually releases dopamine in your bloodstream. The nucleus accumbens part of the brain releases that feel-good neurochemical, and we start off the day being grateful. And anything that we give attention to expands. So the more you are grateful, the more you have to be grateful for. If you're focusing on everything that's not working well in your life, then you're going to actually be releasing probably stress hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, or epinephrine, etc. And so gratitude is a great way to start the day. The very second thing that I do is I do something called innercising. And I listen to affirmations. I do mental contrasting, seeing where I am, what do I want to achieve in health, wealth, relations, career, business, finance, fun, experiences, spiritual growth, etc. So I'm contrasting in my own brain. I'm conditioning my brain daily to focus on the reality of what is without any judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification. And I mentally rehearse where I am, where I want to be 2 or 3 times. And then I just invest the time training my brain to focus on achievement of that goal, being in that reality right now, feeling it, emotionalizing it. And then I do my inner sizes. I go do my exercise. And then I have something healthy to eat in the morning. In the evening, to close off the day, I do a little bit of inner size, but it's more of calming my mind, being reflective of the day, being in a state of gratitude, being in a state of appreciation, being in a state of what did I discover about the day? How will I be better tomorrow? Did I take the actions I committed to taking, or did I procrastinate and self-sabotage? And again, no judgment, no blame, no shame, no guilt, no justification. I am literally training my brain on what I wanted to focus on. And then I used some techniques, whether it's visualization, meditation, mindfulness, affirmations, mental contrasting, and a few other techniques to direct my brain. Now, here's what I've discovered. Every human brain functionally works the same. My brain, your brain, Genghis Khan's brains, Richard Branson's brains, Oprah's brains, functionally every brain works the same. But not everybody knows how to use their brain to the best of its ability. Whatever it is that we focus on good, you release good neurochemicals. Focus on bad, you release bad neurochemicals. Now, why is that important? Well, if you are so caught up in the problem, you're releasing the neurochemicals of stress, which activates something that I call is the Frankenstein's monster, right? You see Einstein up here and Frankenstein's monster there. I call those the Stein brothers. So when we are focusing a positive mental attitude, we're not only seeing ourselves achieving the success, we're not only self-talking in a positive way, we're not only reframing things, taking anything that's happened to us and reframing them in a way that it'll empower us instead of disempower us, then guess what happens? Now we are releasing the proactive, the neurochemicals that turn on the executive functioning part of the brain, the CEO, the executive director, which is the Einstein part of the brain. When that happens, the motivational circuits turn on. When that happens, the behavioral circuits turn on. And now we have a forward moving pattern. And when we reinforce moving forward towards our goals and dreams, even when something happens to us, we flip the script, we reframe how we're looking at it. And as Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at something, the thing that you look at changes. So within every challenge, within every criticism, within every failure, there is an equal and opposite opportunity, but you have to look for it. Now, since you have a brain and you're not your brain, then whose responsibility is it to look for the positive in everything and everyone? It's so easy to get caught down the rabbit hole of negativity. It's so easy to get stuck in these perceptions or feelings or behaviors that are disempowering. First, you have to become aware. Before you become aware, you have to be calm to be aware. So in a stress state, our awareness becomes very, very narrow. In a calm state, we can respond and it actually opens up. So here's a little thing that I do all the time. It's an inner size called Take 6, Calm the Circuits. So for example, you may know that in a stress state, when that Frankenstein's monster is like focused on the problem, what's wrong with something, okay, the neurochemicals that are going through your body are stress neurochemicals. Well, heartbeat goes up. We may start to sweat a little bit, and we get myopic, okay, or narrow in our focus. But if you just took 6 slow, deep breaths, slowly in through your nose, as slowly as you could, deep, full. And then at the top, just hold for 1 or 2 seconds. And then you released it as you're breathing out through a straw out of your mouth. If you do that 6 times, you'll actually deactivate that negative, that what if you fail? What if you lose money? What if you're embarrassed or ashamed or ridiculed or judged or rejected or unloved or disappointed? Have you deactivate that, what is known as the sympathetic nervous system, and you shift your mindset to a calm state where you activate the Einstein brain. And guess what you do? You activate the imagination. You activate the motivation. You activate the genius part of your brain that can actually focus on the solution. If it's your brain and there's different circuits that turn on or off in your brain, could you deliberately focus your negative, disempowering mind, your destructive mind, and shift over to your constructive, positive, empowered side of your mind? The answer is unequivocally yes. So when Napoleon Hill says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And when we keep a positive mental attitude on what did we learn? What is it I want to achieve? What do I need to believe? And then we reinforce those mental and emotional patterns. Now we train our brain to find the solutions. Now we're in the vibration, the energy. We tap into the mastermind of all thoughts and ideas. And then we're going to top this off with one final thought. And that is it really possible to achieve what we conceive? I've come up with these terms for myself. And just like, you can strengthen your chest muscles or your bicep muscles or your leg muscles with exercise, why not train your brain, with what I call is inner size? Aren't beliefs either strong or weak, empowering or disempowering? Aren't habits constructive or destructive, empowering you or disempowering you? Isn't your self-image that you weren't born with either one that lifts you up or one that makes you feel like you're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough? How do you strengthen your, what I call our neuromuscles? Affirmations do work. When you use spaced repetition over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Visualization, where you see yourself achieving the goal that you want to achieve. Visualization is a simulation. And when you simulate in your brain, you activate the same neurons, brain cells. They fire in the exact same order as if you are doing it. And if you practice the visualization as a simulation, those neurons that fire together wire together. So if you affirm, if you emotionalize the achievement of what you want, if you visualize what you want, now you're speaking the language of what it is that you want to achieve. You're feeling. Emotionalization is nothing more than energy in motion. So let's have a healthy, respectful view of ourselves. Let's keep our mind positive through positive mental attitude. Let's condition our mind daily. Let's reframe things that may happen to us to happen for us. Let's focus on the solutions because they're there for every problem. Let's make sure that we use education as a way to grow and learn and discover. Critique yourself up. And more than anything else, teach yourself to focus on what you want and place all of your intention and attention on that. Be aware of what you don't want. That's okay. That's awareness. But intention and attention, focus and behavior must be focused on the vision that you want to trade your life for, on the goals that'll give you the stepping stones to get there. And then, most importantly, believe in yourself. Create the beliefs you need in advance of actually needing them. Practice in your mind, feel it in your heart, use your intuition to steer the way, and then take action every single day. Take more action, and then analyze what you've done and tweak and adjust the path until what you conceived and what you believed becomes your new reality. And I know you can achieve it, so go ahead and do it.